As we approach Donald Trump's second term as President of the United States, the sense of triumph that seemed so palpable following his election win is beginning to fade. Just over a month has passed since the results were finalized on November 5th, and the optimistic Republican celebrations from election night now seem like a distant memory. What was once a gleaming victory for the GOP has quickly become a tale of failure, infighting, and embarrassment. Although Trump has yet to formally take office for his second term, the early signs are already alarming. A month into his presidency-elect status, Trump is stumbling in ways we've rarely seen before. Instead of riding the wave of momentum, he has found himself struggling to maintain control, unable to secure the loyalty of key Republican figures, and failing to establish the cohesive administration he promised. Worse still, his early decisions, especially regarding potential cabinet picks, have been marked by disaster after disaster. The Republican Party's supposed unity under Trump is beginning to fracture, with internal divisions and pushback becoming more pronounced every day. In this video, we will delve into the missteps that have defined Donald Trump's post-election period, examine the controversies surrounding his cabinet picks, and explore why his presidency-elect is already on shaky ground. From failed nominations to Republican resistance, let's take a look at how Trump is already failing at everything before even assuming office. The early signs of trouble, the aftermath of election night. On election night, Trump's victory seemed to seal a second term. Republicans were jubilant. The media celebrated the end of a contentious election cycle, and Trump supporters reveled in what they believed was a long-awaited triumph. It was a moment for celebration, but one that was short-lived. Fast forward to just a month later, and the mood has drastically shifted. Trump's post-election actions have been marred by poor decisions and embarrassments that have left many questioning his ability to lead even before taking office. This segment will focus on the high expectations that were initially set and how quickly they turned into failures. Cabinet picks in shambles, a series of disasters. Trump's first major show of strength after the election was selecting his cabinet and key administration figures. However, one disastrous nomination after another has become a focal point for critics. Let's break down the most significant blunders. Matt Gaetz and the Attorney General nomination. Matt Gaetz, the controversial Republican congressman from Florida, was initially nominated to serve as Attorney General. However, this nomination quickly collapsed under the weight of scandals and opposition from both the media and Republicans in Congress. Gaetz, who has faced multiple investigations and allegations of misconduct, was seen as an untenable choice for the role. Even the most diehard Trump supporters could not defend his nomination, leading to its swift demise. This failure not only highlighted Trump's poor judgment in picking candidates, but also signaled a deeper issue. The ability of Trump's inner circle to back him up on important matters is clearly waning. Pete Heith and the fallout from the media. When Matt Gaetz was rejected, attention quickly turned to Pete Heith, a lesser-known but equally controversial figure. Heith's past and questionable decisions became the subject of intense scrutiny. Old media reports resurfaced, and it quickly became clear that Heith was not a suitable candidate for a key position in the Trump administration. His nomination has now stalled, and it seems increasingly likely that Trump will need to look elsewhere for his Attorney General pick. The media's ability to effectively target Trump's appointees before they even take office is a major blow to the president-elect's credibility. If Heith is eventually pushed out, it will serve as another embarrassing setback for Trump, who is struggling to form a cabinet that can gain widespread approval. Tulsi Gabbard and allegiances to Russia. Next, there's the drama surrounding Tulsi Gabbard, the former Democratic congresswoman from Hawaii. Gabbard has been a controversial figure ever since her bid for the Democratic nomination in 2020, and her recent association with Vladimir Putin and Russian state-controlled media has only added fuel to the fire. Trump's potential selection of Gabbard for a high-profile position in his administration has sparked intense backlash. Her foreign policy stances, particularly regarding Russia, are at odds with much of the party's core values, and her past positions continue to cause discomfort in Washington. Her inclusion in Trump's inner circle is likely to exacerbate the divide within the Republican Party. The GOP is already uncomfortable with Trump's leadership, and the nomination of figures like Gabbard only intensifies this rift. The Republican establishment, wary of aligning too closely with Trump's increasingly erratic decisions, is showing signs of resistance to figures like Gabbard, who could prove divisive. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the discontent in Washington. Another candidate that has raised eyebrows in Washington is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., an environmental activist and outspoken critic of vaccines. His anti-vaccine stance has put him at odds with both medical professionals and many within the Democratic Party, and his presence on Trump's radar could further alienate the Republican establishment. Kennedy's inclusion would only add to the list of problematic appointments that Trump has made thus far, and it's clear that many within the GOP are hesitant to embrace such controversial figures. The Republican resistance, a party divided. While Trump may have won the election, he has failed to secure the full loyalty of the Republican Party. His post-election efforts to gain support for his cabinet nominations have largely been unsuccessful. J.D. Vance, a key Trump ally and vice president-elect, has been tasked with persuading Senate Republicans to back Trump's choices, but the response has been far from favorable. Many Republican senators have expressed discomfort with Trump's nominations, citing concerns over their qualifications or past controversies. Even staunch Trump supporters, such as Senator Lindsey Graham, have voiced skepticism about nominees like Pete Heith. This resistance is a sign that the Republican Party is no longer united behind Trump as it once was. The party's infighting and lack of cohesion are troubling signs for the incoming president. Republicans who previously would have fallen in line behind Trump are now publicly challenging him. This rift is a clear indication that Trump's hold on the GOP is weakening, and he may face significant challenges in pushing his agenda once he takes office. The J.D. Vance effect, a failed show of power. Trump's attempt to consolidate power within the GOP is being undermined by the resistance of Republican lawmakers. J.D. Vance, who is still serving as a senator, has been tasked with the important job of meeting with Republican senators and encouraging them to back Trump's nominations. However, his efforts have not borne fruit. Senators who were once loyal to Trump are now openly questioning his choices, with some even publicly rejecting the idea of confirming his nominees. This failure highlights a significant flaw in Trump's strategy. He overestimated his influence and underestimated the pushback from Republican lawmakers. The idea that Trump could easily consolidate power and steamroll his way through the confirmation process has proven to be an illusion. As these senators continue to voice their opposition, it's becoming clear that Trump will struggle to gain the unanimous support he once commanded. Trump's overestimation of his mandate, a crumbling vision of power. One of the most striking aspects of Trump's post-election period is his failure to grasp the reality of his mandate. While he won the election, he did not secure a majority of the popular vote, a fact that continues to haunt him. Trump's obsession with winning the popular vote is evident in his daily frustration and his inability to accept the reality that his victory was not as overwhelming as he expected is creating further discontent. Trump's perception of his own power is another key factor in his failure to assert control. He believed that his second term would be an unchallenged period of dominance, yet he is facing resistance not only from the media but from within his own party. The idea that he could simply demand loyalty from Republican lawmakers and expect compliance is clearly flawed. As his cabinet picks continue to fail and his approval ratings fluctuate, Trump's grip on power is slipping. Donald Trump's presidency-elect has already become a story of failure and miscalculation. From cabinet picks that are quickly unraveling to a Republican Party that is no longer uniformly behind him, Trump is facing a level of resistance and opposition that he did not anticipate. His inability to unite his party and secure the loyalty of key figures is a troubling sign for his upcoming second term. The failures we've seen in just the first month following the election raise significant questions about Trump's ability to effectively govern once he is sworn in. If he is already struggling to gain support within his own party and facing setbacks at every turn, the challenges he will face as president could be even more daunting. For now, the image of a strong, all-powerful leader that Trump projected during his campaign is rapidly crumbling, and his ability to navigate the political landscape in the coming months will be under intense scrutiny. As we move closer to his inauguration, it's becoming increasingly clear that Trump's second term may not be the triumph he envisioned. The Republican Party, once united under his banner, is now fractured and uncertain, and if Trump cannot regain control, the road ahead could be much more difficult than anyone expected. One thing is certain: Trump is already failing at everything, and it remains to be seen how much further this downward spiral will go.